John Harvey, thanks very much for joining us again on Ground Cover TV.
Our pleasure. Pleasure to be here again.
We know GRDC is looking at its future, and part of that is a governance review. So tell us what's happening.
Well, as some growers will know and have heard, GRDC is looking at its future. There's been a lot of changes over the last 4 or 5 years, and whilst GRDC has performed well over the past, it's important that the board does consider the future and the changing environment we're operating in, and does consider what is the best possible structure for GRDC going forward in terms of delivering the best and the highest possible value back to Australian grain growers.
So how important is stakeholder engagement in the entire process?
Well, at the end of the day, GRDC is there for growers. So it's absolutely critical that growers are engaged in any discussion about the future of GRDC. Our two key stakeholders are Australian grain growers and the Australian government. So any review of the structure of GRDC needs to be embraced by our stakeholders, and ultimately it's a decision for them about what's the appropriate way for us to go forward.
And what's come out of discussion so far?
We have got all of the key organisations and leaders in the industry together to look at the future, look at some of the trends that are occurring out there, and to start that discussion about the future of GRDC, and is it appropriate that we stay as a statutory authority, or is there an alternative structure that might serve us better?
So what would that better structure look like?
Well, there's a number of possibilities, and one option is that we stay exactly as we are. That might be that is certainly obviously an option. But some of our sister organisations, like Dairy Australia, have moved to industry-owned structures where growers are much more involved in the actual governance of the organisation, and that's certainly something that is worth considering.
So if that's what it could look like, why now?
Well, I guess we've seen a number of things over the last few years that are important. The first one is we've seen the government come out and reaffirm its commitment to investing in R&D through its rural R&D policy statement, and that's great to see. But we've also seen big changes in the industry. We've seen deregulation of marketing. We've seen some concentration and globalisation of the value chain, particularly with some of the big multinationals now coming into Australia. But we're also seeing globalisation of the whole research environment, and we're seeing a much larger role being played by the private sector. They are really significant changes for the grains industry, and I think it's timely for GRDC to sit back and say, well, what's that mean for us, and how can we possibly serve growers best in this new environment?
If those are some of the reasons why, what would be the benefit in making a change?
I guess really two key things. The first one is benefits of involving growers more in the governance of GRDC, making sure that GRDC really is able to deliver on the needs of growers. And the second one is, will a change in structure enable us to interact more effectively with the private sector?
John Harvey, thanks very much again for joining us.
Thank you.